coach. I mean, in this coach, on this coach. Super empty, super pretty. I mean, the other coaches were fine. This one was just a bit more upgraded. I got a window seat. You can see there's another train opposite. I was so confused because I saw like people getting on. I saw people getting on the train and I thought it was a reflection in the window, but I was like, there's nobody. I realized there's another train there.
So today I'm on a day trip to Girona and Figueres. My main objective is actually to visit the Dali-Theatre-Museum in Figueres alone, but I decided to stop by Girona on the way since many reviews online mention Girona as a must-visit place. Girona is an old medieval town, and something about the stone walls, winding paths, stairs and alleys just makes everything so charming. I think the rustic vibe of this place and the absence of modern construction is what makes it so nostalgic and almost romantic, and it's just so hard not to fall in love with Girona.
This kind of stairs. There's a railing. The stairs just from there. Narrow. This garden has so many cute blue benches. Oh my gosh. Yep, small garden. Gonna go back down. If it rains even more, oh my god, it's harder going down. Jesus. These are the Game of Thrones steps. I don't know, isn't it pretty lame? Like, I walked up not knowing these are the steps, and I went to Google, these are the ones. I'm just like, there are nicer steps here. And then there's like that random like trash over there. Hi, so well. Mandatory photos since I came all the way here. Yep, wasted trip to Girona. I don't know, I want to say Girona was pretty, but it's so empty. Am I at the wrong places?
If I was being frank, I was in a bit of a bad mood when I arrived in Girona as I was really cold and tired. The weather was cloudy and drizzly, and as I arrived in Girona in the morning, most of the shops were closed and the streets were empty. But after I managed to find a place for coffee and re-energized myself, I re-emerged seeing Girona in a brand new light. So I take back all of the negative things I said, and I am so sorry. I love Girona, it is actually so pretty. Please don't hate me.
So when I was first here and I was walking around, I thought like, oh, this is quite boring. Like there's not much to see and all, because I'm not a Game of Thrones fan either. But then I thought maybe it's because I was just tired. So after I had a cup of coffee in a cafe, the moment I stepped out of the cafe, I found Girona really nice. But yeah, I was just tired.
Yes, so moving on, one of the attractions I had wanted to visit in Girona was the Arab Bath. While it is called an Arab Bath, I believe this is actually a Roman bath, and is also one of the best preserved Middle Ages baths in Catalonia and possibly Europe. The bath has a total of 4 rooms: the changing room, the cold room, the hot room and the warm room. Pretty self-explanatory, the cold room is cold and the hot room is hot, but the warm room is like an in-between zone to recover from the extreme temperatures. It is the second largest room and also the most social room, as many bathers would use this room for eating and conversation.
So this used to be a bath. Flower lights. Yeah, this shows
There were videos showing how the bath was used in the past and how the system worked to get the different areas hot and cold, which I thought was really interesting. I can't recall the procedures exactly, but if I remember correctly, they would heat up the water for the hot room at one location, and it would flow in these channels below ground. As the water flows through the channels, it would have cooled down for the warm room and the cold room respectively.
So this was where the heat or the steam would have entered the other room, and this part is like gone. Only this part was conserved, and this part, like the whole area is gone. That's why you can see underneath. Streets of Figueres, and they have these things on like cables. Kind of looks like lamps, but I'm wondering how it works. Like, would there be gas going through and then someone come to light fire? I don't know. There are cows.
Following Girona, it was finally time to head to Figueres. Figueres is known as the birthplace and hometown of Salvador Dali, a surrealist artist. If you are a huge Dali fan, there is a route you can take that covers spaces associated to the artist, such as his family residence and birthplace, etc. However, I only had 3 hours to spare in Figueres, so I decided to spend the entire time in the museum instead. From the entrance alone, it was already spectacular. Okay, I literally don't know how to interpret it, but I was basically looking at a sculpture of a naked woman standing on top of a car that looks like it had been in an accident, and behind it is a tower or totem of some sort which holds an upside down boat with water pouring out, and around that is a wall with these golden trophy-like statues surrounding me. It's like I freaking won the Oscars or something. It was literally crazy.
Try looking for someone to forget, 'cause I gave you my whole life, and they say you gave me nothing, and you left me here lonely, hey, hey. I was lost on my own way, I will never be the same girl, but someone told me never lose faith, we can come back.
Unlike many other museums or exhibition visits where I try to understand and interpret an artwork, I realized that I could not do that for Dali's works. Most of the time, I'm just in awe by how insane his mind is and trying to rationalize how he creates these irrational, imaginary, and avant-garde pieces. Because that was literally how amazing it was.
Whose works are featured here. There's this artist who, I guess, draws based on like rocks, because everything is like made of rocks in his paintings. Look at that. The artist like built to model for his drawing when he drew like that figure, kind of in the same shape.
Entry to the museum also gives you access to the Dali jewels collection, which is honestly worth a visit as well. Unfortunately, I was rushing as I had to get to the train station in time for my train, but I would otherwise have wanted to spend just a bit more time here. Not just in the Dali Museum, but also in other parts of Figueres. A full day might be too much, so doing this trip together with Girona is still the most ideal. But anyway, for the last few days in Barcelona, my friend came to visit, so I will finally have company and someone to talk to. I'm so glad I can finally say this because this series took so long to be complete, literally like months. But stay tuned for the very last part of my Spain solo trip vlog, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you, I'll see you guys again soon!